I was born and raised in a calm town. Crime was non-existent and everyone got along with each other. It was the last day of school. I met with my friends at the end of the day as we had made a plan to camp in the forest for the whole night. Finally arriving home, I greeted my parents. "Hey, how was school?" my mom said excitedly. "It was fine, like usual," I said while releasing a sigh. My dad never greeted me. It didn't mean he didn't love me. He was just so invested in watching the football game. I headed to my room and started packing some food in my backpack. My parents didn't know about the plan me and my friends had made. It didn't matter. They were going to leave at 5 p.m. for a baseball game. I was planning to leave the house at about 12 a.m. and meet my friends at the gas station near the forest. After I took a shower, I applied some mosquito repellent and went on to leave the house. It was roughly 11:55 p.m. The walk to the gas station took about 5 minutes. While walking to the gas station, I couldn't help but notice the light fog that was covering the town. About 200 feet away from the gas station, I could already see my friends huddled up. When I arrived at the station, I greeted them. "Sup, Jay," said Michael with a slight smirk. I proceeded to then greet all my friends. We decided to enter the gas station to pick up some marshmallows and lighter fluid. After we bought the extra supplies we needed, we headed towards the trail that led into the forest. We could hear the sounds of owls hooting and the howls of coyotes. We walked for a good 10 minutes until we found a great flat area to set up the tents. We were pretty deep in the forest. We had 5 tents. It was decided that there was going to be 2 people per tent. I was assigned the job to start the fire. I started looking for small sticks to medium-sized ones to start the fire. After finding about 20 good ones, I planted them in an upwards position, which I had learned from a survival documentary I had watched. It supposedly made the fire last longer and made it stronger. I doused the wood with lighter fluid and threw a lit match. Immediately after I did, a huge fire sparked. All my friends cheered. I kept feeding it the sticks I had found. The fire now too big for the small sticks. I went and found about 20 big sticks, which would surely last way longer. After all the tents were up and good, and everyone had finished their assigned job, Kayla, my friend, suggested we sit around the fire and roast the marshmallows we had bought. Everyone agreed to the idea. I wasn't really hungry, so I didn't eat any. I don't know why, but I kept feeling patches of cold touching my neck. Every time it happened, I turned around just to see the tall trees that towered over us. I decided not to tell anyone, not wanting to worry them or ruin the vibe. Conveniently, my friend Gabe had brought a couple packs of beers with his fake ID. After a bit of hesitation, I agreed to drink a couple of beers, hoping that it would ease me a bit. It was now getting real late. We all agreed that we should get into the tents. Michael was the person I had to share the tent with. I decided not to put out the fire, thinking it would provide us with heat and protection from the animals. After struggling to fall asleep, I heard a sound from the tent. I thought it was my mind playing games with me. While trying to fall asleep again, I heard the same sound again. This time it was louder. I decided to tap Michael on the shoulder to ask him if he had also heard it. "Hey, wake up," I said while tapping him on the shoulder. "Ugh, what?" he said with a tired look on his face. "Did you hear that?" I said. "No, chill out. You had a few beers, remember?" he said. He then fell asleep. What he said was true. I did have a couple more beers than I had planned. I had never been drunk before. This is what it probably felt like, I thought. I finally fell asleep, but then I woke up again. This time a loud crack. It sounded like a tree had snapped. Startled, I reached over for Michael to ask him if he had heard that. He wasn't there. I thought he probably had gone out to pee, so I opened the tent. I peeked my head out trying to look for Michael. I noticed that the large fire was now non-existent. After fully coming out of the tent, still searching for Michael, I called out his name. He didn't answer. I yelled his name again. Nothing. I went to the tent that was next to me and Michael's. I opened it. No one was there. I then went to the tent that was next to that one. No one was there. After checking every tent, no one was in them. I then heard a low hum sound followed by the scream of Michael's voice. He yelled out a cry for help, then silence. I noticed his yell came from the west side of the forest. Moving my head to the direction I heard the yell come from, I saw something that still haunts me to this day. It was big, very big, bigger than the 40-foot trees that flooded the forest. It had large glowing red eyes and long, slim arms. Frightened, I grabbed my backpack and started running. I ran as fast as I could. The weight of the bag was holding me back. I dropped it while running, and at that moment my life was more precious than my phone or anything in my bag. As soon as I had run roughly 20 feet, I heard that thing start knocking trees over while chasing me. Too scared to look back, I kept running. After a good minute of running, which felt like an hour, I guess it stopped chasing me. I didn't hear the trees falling over anymore. I was sure as hell not going to stop running just because of that. I kept running at a pretty good pace until I made it to the end of the trail. I ran to the gas station and asked the old man for a phone. I called the police. After arriving on the scene, they went into the forest to try to find my friends. It has now been 10 years since this happened. I don't live in that town anymore. My parents still do. After multiple manhunts, my friends still haven't been found. I'm also pretty sure that the thing that killed them is still alive.